other form of nonsense that they deliver to society in order to make them angrier because they themselves are angry, that instills an emotion in people. It instills an emotion in people, so much so that people literally start living their life in such a fashion where they think it's okay to be angry. They think it's perfectly normal to be angry. They start viewing themselves as victims of society. Hence the reason why in the last 20 years, these organizations, whether it be BDS or the 99%, or all these other loser organizations, have found an enormous audience full of angry people, many of them having nothing to be angry about. I remember back when 99% was all over Wall Street. Many of the people that were being interviewed were children of filthy rich people. But they were angry at the rich people. Yeah, so if you're so angry, go and tell your parents to give all the money to the poor people. It's the stupidest thing in the world. But nonetheless, this is what's happening. So we see here that when a person listening to something is, that influences their emotion. Needless to say, if a person is listening to the words of the sages that are telling him to change, that are telling her to change, if he's listening to it with an intention to do something, to apply it to their life, that person can change. But they have to be willing, they have to be open. When a person puts on a rap song, they're looking to be receptive at every single word, to the point where they want to listen to it over and over again until they memorize every word, so they can walk around the street like fools as if they're imagining themselves in a music video. If people simply use that same tool for Torah, and they would actually learn a Mishnah and Avot, they would learn something in the Divrei Musar, and they would literally read it over and over again, listen to themselves over and over again, record themselves and then play themselves listening to it, or listening to our shurim, or anybody else that speaks the truth. They listen to it over and over again. Guess what? Little by little have an impact. But this time, a positive impact. That's why Arav Blazek continues and finalizes and says, and therefore it's good to review the selection of Musar thoughts many times, especially when one encounters a teaching from the sages or a Musar thought that one feels in his soul, that he will be transformed by it as he takes it into the depths of his heart. If he will repeat it fervently several times until it's engraved on his heart, then even when walking outside or while laying on his bed, this teaching will ring in his ears like a bell, never being forgotten. And my master, the Gaon Vilna, himself studied Musar works with great fervor, in a very sweet voice inspiring sadness, and sometimes he would repeat one portion with fervor countless times, and whoever heard his voice felt his heart melting to water. And even in his later years, at which point it is said that about Torah scholars that as they age their understanding deepens, he reached great levels of holiness and his soul was almost stripped of any material. The Gra still did not stop studying and contemplating the books of morality with great fervor, often being reduced to tears. See, here we see, Rabotai, that the way for a person to learn Musar is not just by superficially listening to it or reading it, but rather preparing themselves mentally before they even start with an intention of taking what they learn and applying it to their life and using different tools that are going to help you memorize it. What tools? Tools that will make you emotionally connected to that teaching.